My elder sister was as kind-hearted as a fairy. Once, we encountered a group of refugees. Despite our family transporting relief grain, she declared righteously, "The relief grain is meant for the people anyway. Wouldn't it be better to give it to them earlier and save more lives?" Ignoring our pleas, she lifted the straw mat covering the grain. The starving refugees, their eyes red with hunger, swarmed in and looted everything, due to the failed delivery. My father and brother were sentenced to exile and died on the way. Mother and us two sisters were conscripted into government prostitution. Upon learning of father and brother's deaths, mother developed a coughing illness. The medicine I begged for on my knees was given by my elder sister to a sick little beggar instead. Mother's illness won't be fatal, but that child won't last long without treatment. That very night, mother coughed until her lungs ruptured and passed away. My elder sister fell seriously ill, and whenever it was time to receive clients, she would feign illness and push me out to take her place, causing me to contract a filthy disease. She then took the silver I had painstakingly saved and gave it to a poor scholar. The scholar composed a doggerel verse, praising my sister's kind heart as if she were a celestial maiden descended to earth, and her virtuous reputation spread throughout the capital. Even the crown prince was moved and sought to marry her as his concubine. After my sister rose to prominence, I begged her to clear our father and brother's names, give our mother a proper burial, and rescue me from the brothel. She said, "You are unkind, and this is your retribution. I am in this position to bring prosperity to more people." But then I saw a refugee beside her become the top scholar in the imperial exams, a little beggar recognized by a noble family, and a poor scholar who became a master painter. Only then did I realize she had merely used our family as stepping stones. I died with resentment in my heart, only to open my eyes again and find myself back on the grain transport cart. When my elder sister declared she would give the grain to the refugees, I kicked her off the cart. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. Father, isn't this relief grain meant to prevent the people from starving? Why can't we give it to them now? My elder sister, Lin Yang, stood there in pristine white robes, ethereal and untainted by worldly dust. With tearful eyes and a sorrowful expression, she pointed at the emaciated refugees in the distance. My parents would naturally never agree. During this drought in Jiangnan, my father Lin Wei, as the largest grain merchant of the Yin dynasty, was given a nominal official position by the emperor and assigned our family to transport grain for disaster relief. If anything went wrong during the transportation, none of us would keep our heads. How could they possibly distribute the grain to refugees just because of her few words? Father tried helplessly to persuade my elder sister, Yang, distributing food is the government's responsibility. We shouldn't overstep our bounds. Some matters are more urgent than others, Father. Look at their condition, doesn't it pain your heart? Why cling to empty reputation while disregarding human lives? My elder sister grew increasingly indignant, standing against our entire family as she accused us with visible disappointment. You're utterly unkind, so cold-blooded. I'm deeply disappointed in all of you. Her parents and brother were stunned by her scolding, staring at her blankly as if they couldn't believe these words had come from their own daughter and sister. A chill ran down my spine. As she turned to lift the straw mat covering the grain, I kicked her off the cart. Lin Yang let out a yelp and tumbled several times, her white clothes now stained with dirt and her hair bun thoroughly disheveled. I stood at the front of the car, looking down at her from my superior position. If sister thinks we're unkind, why not go down and help them yourself? Our Lin family won't be joining you. My gaze toward her was filled with hatred. In our previous life, the misfortune of our entire family began today with her insistence on helping the refugees. All we needed to do was wait for the disaster relief grain to be delivered to the government offices, which would then distribute it, and these people would be out of their predicament. Yet Lin Yang, as if possessed, accused us of being unkind and directly lifted the straw mats covering the carts. The refugees, their eyes red with hunger, swarmed over when they saw the carts loaded with grain. The relief grain was completely looted, and the emperor flew into a rage, determined to punish us for our failure to protect it. Father and elder brother were exiled and fell ill, dying on the journey. Mother, too, became sick with grief. her old illness flaring up, coughing incessantly day after day. I knelt before the physician to beg for medicine, only for Lin Yangyang to turn around and give it to some frail little beggar she'd just met, she said. Mother's cough has been going on for over a decade without any major issues, but that little beggar might die without the medicine. Little sister, one should always be kind and compassionate toward the weak, but that very night, Mother coughed up blood and passed away. Lin Yangyang appeared deeply distressed, hugging me as she said she knew she was wrong. I believed her because she was my only family. Whenever she refused to entertain clients, I would step in for her. I wanted to earn more money to buy my mother a better coffin, but just when I was about to save enough, Lin Yangyang took my money again. This time, she helped a poor scholar who couldn't afford the exam fees. Money can always be earned again. Helping others is the most precious treasure. I lunged at her, wanting to strangle her. Just to save that money, I was forced to take on the most notorious clients and contracted a filthy disease. Yet Lin Yangyang managed to catch the crown prince's favor with a poor scholar's doggerel verse and became his concubine. I had barely escaped from the brothel to seek her out, hoping she would clear our father's name, give our mother a proper burial, and rescue me from that wretched place. But she merely cast me a sidelong glance, playing the part of the crown prince's concubine to perfection. You lacked kindness, and this is your retribution. I'm in this position to benefit more people. She kept saying that one shouldn't be too selfish, to always be kind and help the weak, but after I pushed her off the carriage in this lifetime, Lin Yangyang became utterly flustered, losing all her former transcendent fairy-like composure. The refugees noticed her exquisite clothing and began cautiously approaching. After a long drought, they probably hadn't bathed in ages, their body odor so pungent it could be smelled from far away. A few ill-intentioned individuals were eyeing Lin Yangyang up and down with strange looks. It made Lin Yanyan's heart race with fear. Lin Jiaojiao, have you gone mad? Pull me up quickly. I stopped my parents and brother, pretending to be puzzled as I asked her, Sister, these refugees are so pitiful. Why can't you personally help the weak and accompany them through their hardships? Why are you afraid of them? Aren't you the kindest of all? As those people drew closer, some even reaching out to grab her, Lin Yanyan's beautiful face twisted with fear and anger. Get away from me. Don't touch me. Pull me up quickly. I refuse to come into contact with these filthy things. In her panic, she finally spoke her true thoughts aloud. The truth was, she had never once regarded these displaced commoners with any respect. She was well aware of the dire consequences that would follow if this batch of grain were stolen, recalling the newly appointed top scholar from Jiangnan Prefecture in my past life, who always sided with Lin Yangyang. I couldn't help but sneer and urged the coachman to drive faster. Lin Yangyang was left behind, stumbling as she tried to keep up. Even as she ran, she kept crying and screaming for help. Her parents and brother ultimately couldn't bear to see her suffer. Jiao, Yangyang has admitted her mistake. Why don't we pull her up now? Mother cautiously negotiated with me. Though they ached for their eldest daughter, they understood perfectly well that I wouldn't have done such a thing without reason. In fact, I used to be the one who cared most about Sister Lin Yangyang. Every time I went out and tasted something delicious, or saw fashionable patterns in a jewelry shop, I would think of bringing a share for my elder sister. Looking at my still living family members in this lifetime, I couldn't help but feel my eyes redden. Father, mother, brother, though it may sound absurd, last night I had a dream where our entire family was killed by sister. Father chuckled, Yangyang killing us. Isn't she the one who wouldn't even step on an ant? But recalling how Lin Yangyang had clearly been about to lift the straw mat just moments ago, Father's laughter abruptly ceased, his expression darkened. Could it be because of this grain shipment? With a heavy heart, I nodded and recounted how in my past life, Lin Yangyang had brought ruin upon our family and climbed to power by stepping over us. In the dream, after sister became the crown prince's concubine, I went to beg her for help. But she humiliated me and drove me away. I saw the top scholar said to be from Jiangnan Prefecture outside the crown prince's residence, along with the lost young master of the duke's household and the most revered painting sage among the literati of the capital. Only then did I understand why my sister had to sacrifice us back then. Father, mother, elder brother, in my dream, our entire family was nothing but stepping stones for my sister. That dream felt so terribly real. I'm truly afraid things might actually turn out that way. Tears welled in my eyes, yet my hands hanging by my sides clenched into tight fists. I don't know if my parents and brother will believe me, but I must warn them. As long as they plant a seed of doubt in their hearts and don't remain completely defenseless against Lin Yangyang, that would be enough. To my surprise, after only a brief moment of astonishment, they chose to believe me. These are exactly the kinds of things Lin Yangyang would do. I glanced at my brother who had spoken and suddenly remembered, when they were children playing on the streets together, he was nearly kidnapped by child traffickers. Lin Yangyang returned home alone and told our parents she'd given brother away to that poor old woman because she felt sorry for her. Father and mother searched for nearly half a month before finally finding my brother, dizzy with hunger, in a woodshed belonging to another family. Perhaps the things I mentioned brought back those unpleasant childhood memories for him. No wonder he was so indignant. Neither father nor mother refuted my brother's words. They had watched Lin Yangyang grow up, so they naturally understood her temperament very well. It's time to teach her a lesson. If we let her continue fooling around like this, that dream might really come true. Father sighed and patted my head. Don't worry, we're all still doing fine now, this time. Because Lin Yangyang wasn't on the carriage, we successfully transported the grain to Jiangnan Prefecture. The prefect had been waiting for a long time. He was a good official. As soon as the grain arrived, he immediately dispatched people to distribute it to the subordinate regions overnight. At the break of dawn the next day, porridge distribution stalls were already set up throughout the city. The previously despondent common people immediately found hope to survive in their past lives. Those provisions were seized by a small minority, and only they managed to survive. The majority of the remaining commoners in Jiangnan Prefecture nearly all starved to death because the disaster relief provisions never arrived in time. My so-called virtuous elder sister, who preached compassion with her words, committed the most heinous deeds in reality. I let out a faint sigh. Just as I was lost in thought, I saw a woman in tattered clothes staggering into the city. The moment she spotted me, she lunged at me like a madwoman, clawing at my hair. Lin Jiaojiao, you wretched woman, why did you abandon me? Don't you know what they would do to me? How could I not know? Those refugees would see the gold and silver jewelry on her and simply take it by force. Some of the more ruffian-like ones would even take advantage of the chaos to grope her a couple of times. In our past life, when she lifted the straw mat and attracted those scoundrels, both my mother and I had experienced all this. Back then, she hid herself aside, merely watching as her own mother and younger sister were molested, without even attempting to stop it. Not a speck of dust touched her. She stood there pristine and untainted, sighing that if only we had been as kind-hearted as her earlier, such things wouldn't have happened. At this thought, I smiled at her. Sister, they have nowhere to go and have endured hunger for so long. They're so pitiful. Even if they really did something, you'd forgive them, wouldn't you? Lin Yangyang froze in place, completely unprepared for me to say such words. Lin Jiaojiao, are you still my sister? How can you be so heartless, so unfeeling? She seemed utterly heartbroken by my words, clutching her chest as she began to sob pitifully. The sight of a beauty in tears, and such a disheveled beauty at that, made bystanders who didn't know the full story frown in my direction. As if I had truly committed some unforgivable crime, I simply sighed. It's all because you insisted on giving the disaster relief grain to the refugees, sister. I had no choice but to act. If you had really given the grain to those people, wouldn't everyone in Jiangnan Prefecture have starved to death? Your kindness is admirable, sister, but you must think more carefully about such matters. Hearing this, the people who had just been feeling indignant on Lin Yanyan's behalf instantly thought she deserved it. My God, how dare this woman still have the nerve to call her sister heartless? She wanted to give the government relief grain to refugees out of pity. Why didn't she pity us instead? Exactly, truly despicable to the extreme. Lin Yangyang listened to these people cursing her, her face turning deathly pale. No, I didn't. At that time, I was only thinking of saving more lives. Don't those refugees have the right to live too? Her father happened to arrive just then. Hearing these words, he slapped her hard across the face, the force of the blow twisting her head to one side. Lin Yangyang stared in disbelief at the father who had always doted on us children. Father, why did you hit me? I'm hitting exactly who I deserve to be hit, you wretched creature. How dare you meddle with the Imperial Court's disaster relief provisions? If you want to give refugees the right to survive, you're welcome to raise funds and buy grain yourself. Father is the largest grain merchant in the Grayton dynasty, so how could Lin Yangyang, as his legitimate eldest daughter, possibly lack silver? Yet from beginning to end, she never once considered using her wealth to help others. Father's words pierced through Lin Yanyan's little scheme, leaving her utterly humiliated. She desperately wanted to explain but couldn't come up with any plausible justification on the spot. All she could do was follow behind father and me, slinking back to the post station under the furious gazes of Jiangnan Prefecture's commoners. The reputation of the Lin family's eldest daughter, Lin Yangyang, was completely ruined throughout Jiangnan Prefecture. 800 dan of rice did not fully resolve the problem. When the Jiangnan prefect demanded more, father and elder brother immediately rushed back to the capital, leaving mother and me behind to wait. By the time they returned, rain had begun to fall over Jiangnan. I held up my oil paper umbrella and stretched out my hand to catch a few raindrops. With this rain, Jiangnan Prefecture could plant crops again, and the grain father and elder brother had transported this time would last until the next harvest. After receiving the memorial from the governor of Jiangnan, the emperor was greatly pleased and summoned our family back to the capital to receive rewards. On the way back to the capital, my frail mother caught a cold. Sitting in the carriage, she covered her mouth with a handkerchief, coughing incessantly. I grew terribly anxious, fearing she might suffer the same fate as in my past life. Fortunately, father had prepared in advance before our departure, consulting a physician to pack plenty of medicine in our luggage. After 2 days of taking the medicine, mother's condition improved somewhat, but on the third day, when father went to check the bundle again, it was completely empty, not even a trace of medicine remained. I turned my head to look at Lin Yangyang standing nearby. She seemed guilty, unable to meet my gaze. Where's the medicine? I took a step forward, staring at her intently. Lin Yangyang kept retreating until I cornered her in the carriage. Mother just has a cold. That medicine could be of greater use to someone else. She had no choice but to stiffen her neck and defend herself. Just like in her past life, her father and brother were equally shocked by her shamelessness. You really gave your own mother's medicine to a complete stranger. What do you mean by a stranger met by chance? I just thought he looked like he was about to die. It was pitiful. That's all. Isn't compassion for the weak supposed to be human nature? Why do none of you have any mercy in your hearts? Lin Yangyang didn't feel she had done anything wrong in the slightest. If you ask me, mother should do more good deeds in her daily life, accumulate virtue through kindness. Otherwise, she wouldn't have fallen ill. Her eyes held a trace of hatred toward us. She resented me for kicking her off the grain cart before, resented father and mother for not saving her, and resented that slap from father. But how dare she feel such hatred? I took a deep breath, restraining myself again and again, barely stopping myself from punching her in the face. Mother sighed softly inside the carriage. Forget it. I've raised you for over 10 years, and in the end, it turns out to be my fault. Lin Yangyang, the bond between us is too weak. Lin Yangyang's expression changed. What do you mean? It means get the hell out of here. Her brother shouted angrily. How could someone like you exist, stabbing your own family in the back again and again? Lin Yangyang froze. The situation wasn't unfolding the way she'd imagined at all. I didn't. Isn't that medicine common enough for us? Can't we just buy some more? She stiffened her neck in stubborn defense. With the Lin family's vast wealth, can't they even afford to buy some medicine? I see. You must be worried about spending silver on medicine, aren't you? How vulgar, how ignorant, how utterly selfish. Father slapped her again. He looked at her with disappointment. I'll say it again, don't you have even a single penny on you? Isn't the money you have enough to buy medicine for someone else? What gives you the right to take your mother's medicine and give it away? We drove Lin Yangyang off the carriage. Being forced off the carriage was practically no different from being kicked out of the house. My brother and I held her down, stripping her of every piece of jewelry she had bought anew after being robbed once before, all under her murderous glare. Those medicines cost 100 taels of silver in total. These trinkets of yours are worth about 80 taels. We won't bother with exact calculations, just get lost. As the carriage moved away, I saw Lin Yangyang standing there, utterly bewildered. She probably never imagined we would hold her to account like this. But no one will tolerate her forever. Lin Yangyang quickly regained her composure, shouting that we'd surely regret this someday. I suspect she's probably going to seek out those powerful backers from her past life. I watched coldly as her figure grew smaller and smaller, yet the fury in my heart refused to fade. In my past life, after being conscripted as a courtesan, Lin Yangyang would push me forward whenever it was time to receive clients. Before Mother's accident, she said she would take good care of her and asked me to temporarily take her place, until that day. When she stole Mother's medicine, I never wanted to trust her again, yet I was taken away by the brothel madam. That notorious customer who enjoys tormenting women in bed has come again, and he specifically asked for me to serve him. Lin Yangyang was just gloating over my misfortune. I grabbed her by the collar and made her promise to take good care of our mother. She agreed, but when I dragged my battered body back to the room, I discovered Mother had already stopped breathing, and the house was eerily empty. That despair still makes me tremble uncontrollably whenever I recall it. My brother noticed something was wrong and gently patted my back. Father also watched me with deep concern etched across his face. "Jiao Jiao, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell?" I suddenly felt like crying. "Father, brother, I've hidden the medicine. In my bundle, I've hidden medicine that can save Mother." After taking the medicine, Mother recovered in about 4 or 5 days. Her illness in this lifetime wasn't as severe as in her previous one, so naturally, it was treatable. I breathed a sigh of relief, but when I turned around, I met 2 pairs of inquisitive eyes. "Jiao Jiao, I've always felt your reaction that day was somewhat odd." Father was the first to speak up. He had always been perceptive by nature, otherwise he wouldn't have risen to become the top grain merchant in Da'an. Ever since I kicked Lin Yangyang off the grain cart that day, he'd sensed something strange about me. After all, I was the youngest child in the family. They all instinctively doted on me more. Though my temperament wasn't as kind to the point of near madness like Lin Yanyan's, I was still innocent and lively. But now, when Father told me these words, I froze. I hadn't expected him to observe so meticulously, yet I also realized just how deeply he loved his children. Not even the slightest change could escape his notice. "Father," once again, my eyes reddened as I threw myself into my father's arms, just as I had desperately wanted to do countless times in my past life of despair. "If I told you that dream wasn't actually a dream, but something I've experienced before, would you think it absurd?" "Are you talking about reincarnation?" my brother chimed in, but then he furrowed his brows. "So that bastard Lin Yangyang really killed us before? And eventually killed you too?" Father's hands began to tremble. I know this is how he shows his anger. As the first child born to him and Mother, Lin Yangyang was naturally doted upon beyond measure, yet he never imagined this child would turn out to be a cold-hearted, emotionless viper. I glanced at Father, then at Mother. They must be feeling so sad right now. After a long silence, Mother finally spoke. "Jiao Jiao, what else happened in your past life? Tell us everything in detail." I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes and quickly explained everything to them. Mother listened with a furrowed brow throughout, then suddenly asked a question I'd never considered. How on earth did she know these people would achieve great things in the future? Though a few people could be recognized as extraordinary just by their appearance and demeanor, but Lin Yanyan's actions clearly showed she was actively approaching them, not encountering them by chance. I began racking my brains to recall those details. Finally, I remembered something that didn't seem quite right. I remember she sometimes seemed to talk to herself, saying something about main characters and supporting roles. What did that mean? Only in storybooks and operas do they distinguish between main and supporting characters. Brother fell into thought. We all agreed that Lin Yangyang must have encountered some kind of opportunity, just like my rebirth. She possessed the ability to foresee who would achieve great success in the future. Knowing she had this power and understanding her deep hatred for us now, Father immediately decided to topple all her future supporters from our previous lives. After returning to the capital, he dispatched 3 teams, one to find the newly crowned top scholar, another to locate the lost young master of the Duke's residence, and a third to seek out struggling scholars in the capital. In the end, Father's men found Lin Yangyang at the same place where the little beggar from our past life had been. But upon hearing the news delivered by those people's carrier pigeons, Father's expression became strangely peculiar. "Father, has something happened?" I asked curiously, though my heart couldn't help but tighten. I was terrified he might tell me that Lin Yang was now living happily. If she's doing well, then I'll be the one feeling miserable. Father seemed to have guessed my thoughts and gently tapped my forehead. "See for yourself." I eagerly took the letter, but then froze in surprise. I truly never expected that the little beggar who followed Lin Yang in her previous life, always fearful she might suffer the slightest grievance, the very same boy who would later become the legitimate heir of the Duke's household, would actually sell her off to a brothel. Yet upon closer reflection, it makes perfect sense, in this lifetime. The little beggar wasn't deathly ill, and the medicine stolen by her elder sister never reached him. She had shown him no kindness, carried not a single coin on her now, and still sought him out to cling to, merely mouthing empty promises of treating him well. It'd be strange if the little beggar didn't find it annoying to death. I heard Lin Yang was sold to Yanchun House in the capital, the very same place where she and I had been sent in our previous lives. Mother sighed. How unpredictable life is. I couldn't help but nod, though my heart was itching with restless anticipation. While my parents were away from the estate, I changed into men's clothing, tiptoed over the wall, and went to the Yanchun pavilion. With just one glance, I spotted Lin Yang. Because she was in the middle of an argument. "Why won't you take clients for me? You're already a courtesan, your body is tainted. But mine isn't, can't you just help me?" The elder sister merely cast her a graceful sidelong glance. "Sister Yangliu, what nonsense are you talking? Once you enter this brothel, you become a whore. No matter how clean a whore may be, she's still just a whore. Do you still dream of flying out and turning into a phoenix? How dare you insult me? Do you know I was once a lady from an official's household?" "Oh, indeed." After Father returned to the capital, His Majesty summoned him once and deemed him a talent worth employing. So he was transferred from a nominal position to a substantive post. Our entire family has now been removed from the merchant registry. But what does this have to do with Lin Yang? She is no longer a member of our Lin family. Chapter 12. The older sister sneered mockingly. "Oh my. Look at this, a noble young lady in a brothel. I'll have to tell the madam about this. Make sure she gets a good price for you." Lin Yang rushed back to her room in anger and locked the door. Thinking this would help her escape misfortune, I stared at the tightly shut door, my eyes flickering, then called for a servant to fetch the madam and slipped a few silver ingots into her hand. The madam beamed with delight, assuring me she would relay Yenyo's message to me without fail. Only then did I leave. Thoroughly satisfied, returning home, I had just climbed over the wall when I heard someone eerily calling my name from behind. Jiao Jiao, was the brothel fun? My foot slipped, and I nearly fell flat on my face, stiffening. I turned around to see Father, Mother, and even my brother waiting for me in my courtyard. "Father, Mother, Brother, I was wrong." I admitted my mistake quickly, standing dejectedly in the middle of the courtyard. "So what exactly did you do wrong?" Father took a sip of tea and glanced at me. "I shouldn't have gone to the brothel, shouldn't have gone to watch Lin Yang's spectacle." Hearing me say this, Mother sighed. "Where did this Lin Yang come from? Didn't your elder sister already die of illness on the journey back to the capital?" I froze momentarily, but quickly regained my composure. "Yes, I went to see the willows by the river." "Jiao Jiao, we don't object to you visiting the pleasure houses." Father spoke up again. "It's just that such places aren't safe for women after all. We don't want you putting yourself in danger. If you want to know anything in the future, just have your brother make inquiries for you." My brother spat out his tea in shock. "Father, if little sister can't go to pleasure houses, does that mean I can? What about my reputation? Doesn't it count for anything?" Father and Mother nodded in unison. Not really." I couldn't help but laugh, watching my family as warmth flowed through my heart like a gentle stream. How wonderful, it's so good that they're all still here. Though my brother kept complaining that our parents had come up with a terrible idea that would ruin his reputation, saying he'd never find a wife and so on, he still updated me every now and then with news from the madam. Lin Yang initially put up a tough front, refusing to eat in protest, determined to die rather than take clients. The madam didn't indulge her either, making sure she couldn't get her hands on any food. Just 3 days in, Lin Yangyang couldn't take it anymore and started clamoring for food. After eating, she cursed the madam for being heartless, caring only for personal gain and treating the brothel girls as money-making tools. The madam thought she might be an idiot, so she had her beaten again. That very night, Lin Yangyang obediently began receiving clients, yet she still refused to give up. Whenever there were no customers, she would sneak out, though no one knew whom she sought. Perhaps she was searching for that impoverished scholar from her past life, the one who later became the renowned painting sage and brought her fame throughout the capital. And indeed, she did find that destitute scholar. The entire capital sings praises of Lady Yangliu from the Spring Charm Pavilion, saying she's as kind-hearted as a celestial maiden. When she heard of the food shortage in Jiangnan Prefecture, she wished to donate grain to the refugees. When a little beggar fell ill, she sent medicine to care for him. When a poor scholar lacked funds to attend the imperial examinations, it was she who gave him all her savings as a loan for his journey. I wasn't surprised when I heard the news, but I was quite taken aback when Lin Yangyang somehow convinced the madam of the brothel to let her leave and come to the Lin residence. When I saw her again, she was wearing clothes made of ordinary fabric that she would have previously disdained.